So that is at least one minor accomplishment there, but nevertheless, really not good at all. And it looks as if maybe this new slight expansion now for Hyvaa, which is what he needs to do. He needs to get his macro up while his harassment isn't really doing as well as it could be. But there are medic marines in the area, so it looks like this expansion is going to be found, and it is found. Really unfortunate for Hyvaa there. That must hurt. His harassment hasn't gone nearly as well as he'd like to, and now his new expansion has been shut down. So yeah, things looking very much in Light's favour, and he's having to build another hatchery within his own base, purely for unit production, because he needs to get his macro up, but he's unable to take any map control with that macro. Looks as if we've got a drone going out supported by those meters to be able to take this top right position, and it does. There goes down the hatchery. I know we can't see it, but oh, crucially, in the spot that was the gap, the one spot that Light even knew that Hyvaa could get through is the exact spot he builds his new science facility, and so it is victim to this muta harass. Hopefully now these marines will be able to hold it off. Now he's flying his science vessel out of science facility out of harm's way, but he should have done that the moment it was built. And so now it looks as if it could go down. If this science facility goes down, it will be a real turning point, but unfortunately there just aren't enough mutas left in the force. This force of medic marines, which do look as if they are stimmed now. Yes, definitely from the speed that one is moving, it does look as if they are stimmed. And now we have another force of medic marines which finds the expansion again. Just so bad. Thankfully the mutas are now coming down to try and defend this expansion. Hyvaa really needs to defend this. Zerglings coming in down at the other angle, trying to take down quite a few. But yes, thankfully the expansion has been defended. The two groups of medic marines do manage to reunite each other, but it looks as if they're just not in enough number. But now, because the science facility has not been destroyed, the first science vessel is up. So now as the lurkers come out, which is exactly the time when Hyvaa could have really used to have that lack of detection for his opponent, is just the time when it comes out. And now even with a few siege tanks, you know, lurkers versus siege tanks, when there is detection, that's no fight at all, guys. That's a slaughter. So things have just not been going Hyvaa's way whatsoever. You know, he's had good play, he's done exactly what he should have been doing when he should have been doing it. It's just the dice have not rolled in his favour, and so now we have this fairly respectable force. Let's see if they're going to go for that other expansion they picked up before. A few lurkers in the area, but nothing too major. There are quite a few eggs right there, so hopefully while they're vulnerable, this force can actually attack rather than just sitting there as it is doing. But it looks as if they might get flanked actually from multiple directions, so this is actually looking quite good for Hyvaa. But then again, there's just such a small force there doing the flanking. Now we need to see coming in from the other side all those lings taken out, but no, there's still siege tanks on the other side, so unfortunately the force is not taken out, and now it is managing to move up towards this expansion. Once again, it is now having its retreat blocked off, but nevertheless I think what Hyvaa needs to do is, rather than saving this expansion, is exactly what he is doing. Rather than trying to save this expansion, which he knows is lost, he is moving towards the front door of Light. Now crucially though, we do have Hive Tech. So soon we will have cracklings and defilers out on the ground, trying to push in now with those lurkers. But there's too many siege tanks. There are scans in the area. Just 3 lurkers stopping the forces from retreating. But it will take a little time for those to be wiped out. Now going for that temple, which is really standard play. You know, when you have you know, a squad of cracklings being produced every 34 seconds, you can just swan them up that ramp. It is really hard for the Terran player to stay on top of everything, but nevertheless here we see another little stream of forces coming in, but it looks as if they are all just focusing on taking down that temple. He's got a few lurkers there for the contain. He's getting his macro up down at the 9 o'clock position. So yeah, good recovery here from Hyvaa, I have to say. Definitely, he's you know, managed to delay this force from escaping for too long. He's managed to stop them moving out. And here come the Scourge, here come the Scourge. More importantly, the Scourge quite wisely retreat, because if they'd have committed to that, they'd probably have got wiped out by the Stim Marines. But nevertheless, we do have Scourge in the area, so that could be the turning point. Unfortunately, we have idle forces here, not attacking the temple or anything else. Are they going to go for it? Are they going to go for it? Are they going to go for it? No. So yeah, they are moving in, they are moving in. Here come the Zerglings. Unfortunately, the forces run away, and here comes the Scourge, here comes the Scourge. One Science Vessel goes down, other Science Vessel get hit, but unfortunately is not able to do anything. Those Hydralisks there at the background really need to get in as they are and attack that Science Vessel. Lots of Zerglings now, but unfortunately there are just too many medics in the area, keeping the forces alive, and just those 4 Marines manage to hold off the force and do survive. He needs to get back to his base and reinforce. Quick time, my friends, quick time. And now we start to begin the swarm. I can only presume that cracklings have been researched. There is the first defiler. So now we are going to see some dark swarming all over the shop like you and me would not believe. And yes, he is just pushing in for the front door again. Lots and lots of cracklings, lots of lurkers, lots of defilers. Hopefully he will be able to break the front door, but it's just, ooh, it could go either way. Now we do have siege tanks coming up. Now we have fire bats coming up. Unfortunately, I think one of the fire bats taken down by the splash damage of the siege tanks there, moving back quite rightly, and now those remaining 4 Marines from before, unfortunately, taken out, and with only the medics remaining, they need to get the hell out of there, basically, while they just perpetually heal each other. Oh, so ridiculous. Anyway, so at least we know that they are cracklings now. So, oh, more dark swarms going off, a radiator going off on the defiler. That is really crucial play, and things are just a mess at the moment. Things are just absolutely all over the shop, and now a few Zerglings coming in trying to get the attack down on those siege tanks, but the forces are just too heavily built in that area. It's not enough, and the defilers might be caught out of position. This is really bad play from Hyvaa. His defilers are just absolutely nowhere. They have nothing to defend them. Thankfully, the dark swarms will go up, and there are a lot of dark swarms in the area, but it just looks as if there's not enough actual forces to support them. Just firebats flaming everywhere. Everything becomes so messy when the dark swarms get introduced. It's so hard to see what's going on, but nevertheless there are some siege tanks in the area just laying down the pain upon those forces, and then once again we have this top right expansion going up. So Hyvaa has been rinsing his macro, although his attacks haven't been that well timed or executed or even microed that well. The point is because he has just been basically moving in loads of defilers and groups of Zerglings, it has given him time to get his macro up, but unfortunately now here come the Stimpack Marines having a go at this extractor, moving in now, lots of Zerglings coming in to deal with it, and in fact attacking on 2 fronts. It looks as if this to the top right will go down, as it does, and actually the forces survive down here at 9 o'clock as well. I was not expecting these forces to survive. There are more reinforcements coming in, but nevertheless it looks like at the very least this extractor is going to go down. So that is so this is really good play from Light. Basically the entire time that Hyvaa has been doing wasted attacks, he's used them as an opportunity to get his macro up, and then all that macro has been undone with 2 control groups of medic marines. You know, just really not what you want to see. Now getting off some good irradiates on those defilers there, now moving in with now quite a lot of firebats as well, which will crucially cut down the numbers of the cracklings and just ignore all the dark swarm nonsense that has been going on. Very good wall of sunkens there. It will be hard to break through, but nevertheless, if you want to break something, you use siege tanks, and that's exactly what we're seeing in the area right now. So just loads of medic marines all over the shop. It looks as if a no, I was wrong there. I was going to say I thought a plague might have gone off, but nevertheless, I was wrong. I do believe I could have been right. I could have been wrong. It's hard to say at the moment. So once again, this expansion, it looks as if it is being finished off. Those medic marines taking fire. I know it was a plague. A plague had gone off on those forces. Nevertheless, it looks as if, yes, the one lurker has gone off. That expansion will fail, and look at now these siege tanks beginning to move into position. Once again, more Zerglings flowing across. And come on, get rid of this expansion. You know it's already done with, but there's like 2 Marines there picking away at it. How hilarious. So now we have a serious ball of science vessels. Few lings there managing to sneak round, but there's a bunker right down there. Hopefully there'll be some in there. Another expansion going up for Light as well, and there's the GG. Basically, when those 2 bases got taken out, it just meant that, you know, he wouldn't have the economy. There was another expansion going up for Light. You know, his attacks just didn't really do anything. He had good harassment at the beginning, but didn't really follow through with any of it. If I would have to say there was a crucial moment, it was of course that second science facility not going down, because that just meant that you know, the tech responses were there when it needed to be, and of course his His Defiler play was a bit messy. I'd maybe say it was a mistake to have gone for a Temple if he'd have just focused on continual pressure on the front door. It might have gone another way, but nevertheless, great play from both players. Congratulations to MBCgame. Much love. Good night.